Hi, Sai and Sai here from Music Radar. Today we are joined by a plethora of pocket operators.
POs.
POs.
Some teenage engineering, because these have turned 10 this year. 10 years since the first crop of them arrived in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to do one of our completely needless rankings, needless subjective rankings.
Yes.
We're gonna
me and him fight out.
We're gonna fight out the 5 best pocket operators to mark their 10th anniversary.
Okay. So Sai, what came out first? I can't remember.
So the original pocket operators, there was 3 originally released in 2015, and that was the Sub, the Rhythm, and Factory. Here.
There we go.
So those are the 3 original ones. They have all since then kind of kept this similar format, where you kind of got this very sort of basic look. Let's take a look at the newer looking Sub. We'll have a look at that in a second. But this kind of basic sort of stripped, caseless look. Little hanger here so you can hang them directly on something or break these off if you want to.
Yeah.
These kind of cool little screens that kind of give you some sort of visual feedback, but also are kind of a bit cryptic and a bit cool.
Yeah.
But they've all
essentially they're quite fun.
Yeah, they've all got this kind of shared philosophy of like each one does something a little bit different, but you get a mix of various kinds of sounds which are lean more towards kind of fun and quirky, rather than sort of, workhorse do everything things. And the whole range has got kind of a few shared features. So you've got like these inputs and outputs here. They all run on AAA batteries. Yeah. You've got the input and output, which allows them to be synced using like kind of these little cables or whatever little cables
and then you can chain them all up.
You can chain them. I've got to admit, I've never been a fan of doing that because it's fiddly. It's kind of quite hard to work, and also...
And then the gain is an issue as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a pain.
It's a pain. And you need a lot of cables, clearly.
So we love the POs in general. That's one of the multiple sort of slightly fiddly and fussy things that I don't think we really bother with.
No.
You can get these little kind of rubber cases that you can pop them in, like this one here, which kind of makes them feel a little bit more... like a sort of proper instrument thing, or at least a little bit more durable. We say durable because we've got some of the ones on the table here.
Oh, you can see this one.
Which are from our original batch that we got like 10 years ago.
Yeah, broken screens, no longer working.
Broken screen, you can see we're missing the tops on these.
I don't know how they've fallen off. Okay, it's worth noting as well, we don't know who's picking what. So
I haven't told you. I've thought about this and I haven't told you.
So you're going to see the fight, unfurl in real time.
Right, so
go on.
Let's get rid of 5. So first, I'm going to get rid of the Rhythm, which is the original drum machine. Okay. I'm going to do that because
I'm allowing that.
I'm going to do that because there's 2 drum machines or 2 dedicated drum machines in the range.
Yeah. That's the weaker of the 2.
Rhythm and Tonic, and I think I like the Rhythm. It's always loads of fun, but I think of them, it's probably the slightly weaker sounding one.
I agree with you on that.
So we're going to get rid of that.
Yeah. Park it.
I'm also going to. So we've got the Robot and Factory here, and these are kind of your 2 that both lean into like sort of lead sounds and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's only fair that we get rid of one of those. Again, I'm going to get rid of the Factory here. Okay. Because Robot is that's a little bit more leans into like lo-fi sounds, but it's also kind of does a bit of drum machiney, a bit of lead synthy. So I think that's the slightly more interesting.
Can that one then? All right. So far, not controversial. I'm on board with this.
Not controversial.
Okay. That's confusing the issue.
This is the one that I think is going to be controversial. I'm going to can off the KO.
What?
So the KO?
Now that is, I would have.
This is controversial.
Right.
I think pretty sure this is the best selling one. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of probably the most notable one.
Yeah.
The KO. So the KO is the sampler.
Yeah.
Here, and it's one of several ones on here that has like this little mic on, and you can sample to it.
Yeah.
And I will say that I really like the KO. It's kind of fun. It's cool. But
I know why you're picking this.
You've got this.
Those guys.
So this is the KO2, which is actually this is the medieval version, which is the kind of slightly kooky and weird one loaded with like lute sounds or whatever. But anyway,
goat noises.
this is like the kind of 1PO sequel that we've had in recent years, which is bigger, chunkier, and it kind of takes the concept of the KO, which is like quick and fun sampling, and puts it into something bigger, more substantial.
And slightly easier to use.
Yeah, and obviously it is more expensive. These come in at kind of just under 300, so kind of 250, 300 pounds, you can pick them up. So like over twice the price of the KO, but still cheap enough that I think, I am of the opinion now that if you want that cheap, fun sampler, as much as the original Pocket Operator was fun, I wouldn't pick one up instead of one of these days. Like, I think it's
you saved that because I was okay. All right.
I think there's no situation where I think these are kind of cheap enough.
Yeah.
And can do much more and are more hands-on.
Okay.
That I would say there's no situation where I wouldn't say to someone, just save up the extra money.
Yeah.
So that's why. That's why we're having no KO in there.
Doesn't feel right. It don't feel right.
It also taps into something else that I feel about the Pocket Operators, which is as this range has developed, like they've kind of got more and added more stuff to them that has added more and more complexity. So the KO, for example, you know, you've got sampling, you've got things like that. It is still fun. But the more, with these little form factors, the more you add and the more complex it gets, I think the more you slightly lose the element of simplicity.
Okay. So there's one more you're about to can.
Yep.
Which is it?
So the last one canning off is, again, this is where I start being like, okay, it becomes tough. So which one? So this one, I'm going to shift out of this. Yeah. But I'm going to kind of count it as a honourable mention. So in at 6, basically.
Okay. All right.
So in at 6, I'm going to get rid of the tonic. And again, so I've already said, oh, that's the better of the two drum machines, and it is the better of the two drum machines. I think the sounds in it are really cool. So the tonic, if you're not aware of what it does, it kind of works in partnership with Microtonic, which is a plug-in drum machine.
Yeah, very cool one.
From Sonic Charge. And the idea of it was that you can kind of use the mic here to kind of send presets back and forth.
I love that.
I love it.
It was a pain in the
I love
ass
it in principle.
Yeah, I know.
But having, you know, this been around a while, it's not something I've ever actually used beyond the kind of novelty of it. And Microtonic is a cool drum machine, but also it's not the most recent drum machine out there.
No, I understand that. But what you've done is you've killed off the dedicated. I thought that was a shoe-in to stay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think the sounds in it, the built-in sounds in it are great. I think it's a cool drum machine. But I think the kind of the extra bits are a bit of a novelty. And like I said, the more complexity you add to these, I think the more you lose.
Detracts a little bit from
what's fun. So you'll note that mostly the ones I've got in here, in my personal top 5, are the ones that are kind of just fun, just pretty basic, and kind of just do what they do straight up.
All right. You've got to really back this up now. So
here's the 5. Really back this up.
Here's the 5.
5. Okay.
So in at number 5 is?
In at number 5, I'm going to put Robot.
Okay.
Again, so like I kind of touched on that before. Robot is kind of a bit like Factory. It does lead lines, it does drum stuff, it leans into lo-fi sounds, and it's fun, it's cool. For me, it's probably, of these ones here, it's the least usable and appealing sounds of in my personal taste.
Okay.
And again, this is all very subjective.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that you can do lead sounds and you can do drums. It's kind of very fun to like mess about as a little groove box for just standalone. Let's make some beats. Let's make some beepy noises. So that's in at 5.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Number 5.
Number 4.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to put Speak.
Okay.
So Speak is cool. So Speak is the kind of vocodery speech synthesis model in the range. For me, this is the one that makes the best use of that little built-in mic.
Yeah.
Because basically you can kind of record little vocal phrases or little kind of words or whatever and mangle them with this with the built-in synthesizer thing.
Yeah.
And so of the use of the mic, although sampling with a KO is quite fun, for me that's the most immediate and it's also the most unique. Because the KO is cool, but there are other quick samplers and things on the market these days.
Yes.
Where Speak, I think, it does something. Obviously, there are other vocoders, there are other things like that, but I think it does something that
Slightly
you don't
different.
really get out of other cheap things.
Yeah, okay.
So that is going to go in at number 4 for me.
4.
Yeah.
Well,
So
down there.
we're going to the top 3.
Top 3.
Again, I've already got rid of a lot of ones that I know
I know,
you
right?
wouldn't have done, right? So in at number 3 for me is Sub.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh.
So Sub is one of the original 3 POs. It is the kind of bass synthesizer, and yeah, it's cool and it's really fun.
Yeah.
It does, and it sounds good. It's all there in the name. You can get some really meaty sub bass lines out of it, and some nice kind of
surprised.
big kind of wobbly tones and
Yeah,
things like that. It
yeah.
can be a bit fiddly to obviously, like all the POs, all the sound shaping is basically done using these 2 rotaries here.
Yeah.
Which can be a bit fiddly, but you can still do some quite cool little sort of sweeps and pitchy noises.
But
and
also, I
things like
think
that.
part of the charm is that you're getting the happy accident of, oh no, I've done that wrong. Oh, it sounds cool.
Yeah, and also, so another of the big defining characteristics of the POs that we haven't touched on yet, which is definitely one of their big highlights, are the punch-in effects.
Yeah.
Which is carried over to the KO2.
Very well done, yeah.
But they're that's one of the coolest things that they do, which is basically where you kind of hold down the little effects button, a little, or in this case it's the style one, isn't it? Which kind of does different things depending on which buttons. And I think that works quite nicely on this little sub thing here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a cool way to just bring simple little bass noises to life.
Yeah,
with the
and
different
just
things.
stuff on the fly is good.
Yeah, and so that's a lot of fun.
So that's bronze.
So bronze. Top 2. Number 2, I'm going to put Arcade.
Oh!
So I really like Arcade, and it's a bit niche.
You see, I thought you were going to call that as your number 1, I must admit.
It's a bit niche.
And this is what the Capcom ones are based on, I believe.
Yeah, and it's basically a little chiptune synth.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, that kind of proper Game Boy-esque thing. It's just fun and you don't need chiptune sounds all the time, but it's really fun to play around.
Adam will fight you to the death.
It's great. It's really fun to play around with. I think it just matches the little kind of screen interface here.
It's one of my
I think it's a
favourites.
really nice pairing of screen and sounds. And again, the punch and effects work really nicely on this to just make kind of cool glitchy little bleepy rhythms. And just as a little standalone fun and inspiring thing, I think it's up there for me.
Okay.
Which leaves, and probably controversially,
Right, you've got
Office
some
as my
serious
number 1.
justification to do this. This was probably the most vanilla one to me.
And it is, but it kind of is. It kind of is.
Okay.
So Office is basically like, it's probably the most simple thing in the range. And all it does basically is kind of makes sounds that are based on, broadly speaking, kind of officey, mechanically sounds and things.
Yeah. Good old dot matrix printers and all that business.
But for me, that simplicity is kind of sums up. It's like the platonic ideal of the pocket operator for me, as in like, it's simple. It doesn't do a lot, but it just makes kind of weird little sounds that you want to sample and that you want to throw in. Like, it's, what I love doing with this one in particular is just making little kind of clanky, noisy percussion patterns, and like then just
lines and
then just recording loads of it and just
Okay.
playing around with the punching effects to just
Yeah.
make weird glitchy things, and then just recording that and sampling it and things. And I think everything beyond that with these kind of gets into overcomplicating.
Yeah. So you're saying,
you know what I mean?
so Office sort of epitomises what pocket operators are all about.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I just like that kind of, I'm always a fan of kind of weird Foley or kind of, you know, like
Out of
sound
context
effecty
stuff.
noises, and it does that really well.
Okay.
And it doesn't do a lot else, and I like that. That's what I like.
Yeah,
It's just
okay.
makes some weird, clunky noises.
Clunky noises.
And it's fun, and it's cheap, and I think that, for me, sums up what the pocket operator is all about.
Wouldn't have been my choice, but there we go. All right, so that's the hot take. Office is size number one.
Hot take from you then, put two or three. What's your
Right,
top?
sub, my top, I'm going to say my top one would have been
Yeah.
sub. And I would have had, in second place, Speak.
Yep.
Because I think they do more for me than the others.
Yeah.
I just love how massive you can get sounds out of that. It's fun. And that is one of the, like you say, that's one of the more quirky samplers out there.
If you had to put another one, top three?
Top three, I probably would pick Tonic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would have Tonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to admit,
That'd
that's
be my
probably a
top
better
three.
top three than mine, and it's probably much better, easier to justify. But
You can get some good tunes out of that lot, I'll tell you, those three. Anyway, do have a fight in the comments section, because we need to know what you think is the best.
yeah, which is your favourite? Which have you got? Which haven't you got? And
Yeah.
which do you think deserve a big kind of glow up in the way that the KO has with the KO2?
Yeah.
What should be done next?
Yeah. Oh, they could do that, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, good idea. Right, well, do that, and don't forget to like and subscribe and all that business, and we'll see you soon for some more gear demos. So until then, bye-bye.
Thanks.